What's up, guys? Almost over here back with part 2 to my Lixada folding stove review. Now I want to do this in 2 parts so I didn't have them running into each other, because obviously I'm doing 2 tests here, one being an alcohol burn and the other being a wood burn, which even though parts of this wasn't made, or parts in the first video wasn't made for the stove, it still worked fairly well. So you got to give it props for that. And of course, I forgot to go over certain things in the first part, so this allows me to make up and explain some different things. Now, I only paid about $13 for this stove. Not a bad price for its size, and if it holds up fairly well, not a bad cost anyway, considering my Emberlit stove costs almost $40, and this can do pretty much the same thing. Now, even being its size, obviously you got to use smaller pieces of wood for it, so you can't use, larger pieces. You got to find more stuff like twigs and all that, which of course, twig stove, of course. But I believe this is the same size as the Firebox Nano, which if it is, that's a fairly good stove. So if it burns efficiently like that, it should have no issue, using for a canteen cup or a little nesting cup or something. It's not gonna, cook full meals and all that, but to just add water meals to boil up, a little bit of water should be fairly good, especially with the, the Trangia burners, like I said in the first part. Now, like I said, you gotta watch for that little thing, because that part wasn't made for this. Obviously, as you can see here, it's much more stable, solid, and actually looks like it fits together, which it does. So, but, even though it's still, that thing still works, I'm still going to use it. I got it, why not use it? We'll do the same test again with the same pot here. Gonna try to boil some water, see how long it takes. This might take a little bit longer, being that it's wood and the wind might change a little bit. Also depends on how long this wood burns, but this amount, comparing it to my Emberlit stove, since that doesn't burn a lot of wood to boil a cup of water, this should be enough, but we'll see. I'm gonna get this lid up and then add the pot of water. Alright, now let's get this lid up. I have to do this one-handed, so it might be a little awkward. Let's see how well this takes off. Looks like it's doing fairly well. Should burn fairly quick. A good thing about this is it does have a big enough port to actually feed fuel. So that's a good perk there. I mean, you can add like a couple of these at a time. Putting off a good amount of heat already. A lot of smoke though, but not too bad. This was probably made more in mind with the Trangia burners, but if it does multi-purpose, that's fine. Just more use out of it. Put that up in there. There we go. Now this shouldn't take too long to boil this up, seeing that the water's already getting hot as it is. Now I cut back when things should be going, or if anything happens. Alright, well, it didn't take that long to start boiling, and this one got really, really hot, because it's really burning the bottom of this board right now. So you can see it's a good rolling bowl. And it holds a lot of fuel, surprisingly, for how little it is. I mean, all you gotta do is process your tinder up real fine, or just use a handful of sticks and twigs or whatever, and you should be able to get this going no problem. Only issue I'm seeing is the bottom is starting to come out a little bit, but I don't think that's too big of an issue. As long as everything goes back together right, it should be fine. I'm gonna take this off right now. Burning really. The good thing about this stove is, unlike the Emberlit that has a solid fuel pan, this actually has one with holes in it, so it feeds oxygen underneath it, which helps it burn very, very good. Get this up in there. Probably gonna have to move this stove because otherwise it's just gonna sit here and burn. It doesn't look too bad. Just a little wood stove. It does look like it's kind of warping a little bit to the heat, but that's to be expected with these stoves. They'll all do that, except I don't think the titanium will. But all the stainless steel ones that I've seen, they'll warp a little to the heat. That's not too big of a worry though. And being how much fuel is burned to boil that, it didn't really use a lot. So it's fairly efficient. Now, I might try to get a Trangia burner in the future and use it with this, but that's a little bit away now because I don't really like using alcohol stoves or spirit burners. But that's about it. Thanks for watching. You got to use a like, share, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for future videos, and I'll catch y'all next time.